Greetings, faithful followers. Welcome to another episode of Movie Night Live from the Monastery of Mayhem and the Angry Brothers Omaha, Rama. I'm your old pal, brother Jack Angry, coming to you from the Monastery of Mayhem, deep in the bowels of Omaha, Nebraska. Now, we've got a really great show for you tonight. We've got the 1982 classic telekinetic Living Dead, bodies popping out of caskets, classic One Dark Night. Now this one stars Meg Tilly and Adam West, and it's kind of a seldom seen. It's one of them another one of them little rare gems you come across, and we've been kind of running with that theme in the last several weeks here on the show. We brought you Mantango, Attack of the Mushroom People, which was staggeringly popular. We've received just tons of emails and cards and letters about that film. We've brought you H-Men, which is another Japanese mutation, you know, dissolving people, you know, dancing girls being dissolved and all that good shit. We've brought you that, and that's been another staggeringly popular film. We've received just tons of cards and letters about it, and tons of emails, people asking where they can get a copy of it. If you're wanting a copy of the full film, let me know and I'll be happy to send you the link to where I got it, or I'll just burn it to a disc and send it to you, you know, free of charge, maybe for a small postage and handling fee. You know, but tonight we're bringing you another great unsung classic, one of the little rare gems that we come across. But before we do that, we want to thank a few people. We've got some, you know, we want to take care of some housekeeping business, and we want to thank our newest sponsor, www.bingeout.com. Actually, two new sponsors, www.bingeout.com, as I just said, and www.bizarrepetitions.com. Now, both of these sites, the owners of these sites reached out to us and said, hey, we love your show. We want you to, you know, we want to partner up with you. We want you to, we want to sponsor you, and we want you to get the word out to your fans and all of your friends about our two great sites. And if you like binge watching, that seems to be the one of the new buzzwords of this day and age is binge watching, and this site is all about the binge watching. What do you like to binge watch? What programs do you like? Is it something new or current, or is it something that's an old favorite? Me, myself, I like binge watching to some of the old Japanese TV series like Ultraman and Johnny Sokko and his flying robot. I like anime such as Holic and Queen's Blade and Dragon Ball Z, you know, and not to mention my favorites, Outlaw Star and Cowboy Bebop. All right, now what's your favorite? And that's something that you can go to www.bingeout.com, and you'll be able to pick your shows, you'll be able to rate them, you'll be able to tell others about it, and you'll be able to give them ratings of like 0 to 100. I mean, I've been on there quite a bit. I've picked a lot of my favorites, given good reviews. You can even write reviews on your favorite shows. And the same with Bizarre Petitions. If you got a petition that you want people to know about, go to www.bizarrepetition. You can list it there, and you can get the word out to your friends, your followers, anyone you know about this. There was actually a petition to make a national zombie-themed holiday, and being a zombie myself, I thought this was a pretty damn good idea. It's about time we zombies got a little love. I mean, all we usually get is a bullet in our fucking heads. If you're following us on Facebook, you'll see that we saved a link there as well. So, again, welcome to our two newest sponsors, www.bingeout.com and www.bizarrepetitions.com. Two great sites, check them out, and there will be links for these two sites at the end of the program. And also, we want to give a big shout out to the Omaha Sexy Nerd Society. They're having their big Halloween bash on Halloween night, and the Angry Brothers are going to be there. We're going to be there covering that event for the show. We're going to be meeting with all the sexy nerds that come in, especially the ladies, you know, it's like, and I'll have the girls with me, Lady Torrid, Inferna, hopefully Black Dahlia, We'd like to get Ash and a few others as well, but it'll definitely be me and Lady Torrid. And Brother James will be there. So again, look for us at the Omaha Sexy Nerd Society Halloween Bash. When we get more particulars on that, we'll pass them on to you. Now back to tonight's feature. It's called One Dark Night. It stars Meg Tilly and Adam West. To give you a little idea on the plot of the show, basically a man named Carl Raymer who dies or is near death. He turns out as a telekinetic who can wreak all kinds of havoc with his advanced mental powers, kind of like Professor X on steroids. It's like all you nerds out there in the audience have probably got big old hard-ons right now because I dropped a Professor X reference. The film deals with the passing of this man, Carl Raymer, and his attempts to come back from the dead to wreak vengeance on those who have wronged him. Unfortunately, when he chooses to do this, there are also several young girls at a sorority who are pledging a sorority, and their task to be accepted is to spend a night in this mausoleum. Well, they weren't really expecting a lot to happen, and when this guy dies and tries to come back, suddenly all hell is breaking loose. The film also stars Adam West, that's right, the Adam West, who you would know from Batman 1966, plays the character of Alan. Now, there's a little bit of interesting trivia on this, but I'm not going to give that to you right now. I'm going to let you, just sit there and wonder about what he does, and we'll get back to that in the movie. But I do also want to throw a big shout out to all my fellow horror hosts. We've had a lot of horror conventions going on this past month. We've had Horror Hound. We've had, I believe, Crypticon down in, if I'm not mistaken, Kansas City. We've got Days of the Dead coming up. There's been a lot of Comic-Con conventions all over. The big one in San Diego has already happened, but we've had Wizard Con, we've had Dragon Con, we've had that one in Iowa City that, they're urging everybody to stay away from. I can't remember the name of it. And that brings us to another thing. Friends, faithful followers, if you go to these conventions and you see the gals in the neat costumes doing the cosplay, show them the utmost respect, because those girls have worked hard to get those costumes made, and many of them invest a lot of money in there. Our good friend Lacey Papasis up in Iowa City, she does a staggering amount of work on her costume, and it's a pretty considerable financial outlay to even do one costume, to get all the details and all the props and all the this, that, and the other. So if you're at a comic book con, a convention, a Comic-Con, even like Anime Nebraska here in Omaha, Congregation, O-Comic-Con, and you see these gals cosplaying, or you see anybody cosplaying, show them the utmost respect, because they worked hard to get there, and they just want to have a good time the same as you. Yes, I know some of the girls are staggeringly attractive and really hot, and it's like, I'm sure, being guys, we all want to come up and try to impress the hot little cosplayer, with how slick and how cool we are. But, again, keep it friendly, keep it nice, and always remember, guys, no means no. If you're trying to pitch something to them and they're not into it, thank them for their time and go on. Don't be an ass and create a scene and make it unpleasant for everyone else, because that just gives the cons a bad name, and it makes the cosplayers not want to be there. So, all right, well, that's Brother Jack's little moment of public service. So that's enough of that shit. So we're going to get on with the movie One Dark Night here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shockorama. Enjoy.
dark night. You've never been this close to true terror.
Well, welcome back, faithful followers. What did you think of the movie so far? I mean, isn't this movie scary? I mean, you got the good-looking girls in the mausoleum, and we've got all this crap happening. Bodies are popping out everywhere. We've got Rama doing all kinds of telekinetic shit to people. I mean, isn't there a lot going on in this movie? Isn't it really busy? Sometimes I think these movies are just too busy. It's like there's too much going on, and I'm thoroughly overloaded here. But then Brother Jack, will pop open a beer or fire up a big old fatty, and the world will start to slow down a little bit. The world gets nice and slow at that point. After a few beers or maybe a bowl or two. But it's like you didn't hear that from me, and whatever your always remember, people, drink responsibly, and, ask yourself this: why do they call it dope? But that's neither here nor there, and Brother Jack doesn't condone or, advocate the use of any illegal substances unless they're going to be legalized. So let's all pack our bags and go to Colorado. I'm driving. But anyway, some interesting trivia about this movie. Now, first off, we all know who Meg Tilly is. She's done a lot of really great work, Agnes of God, and quite a few other things. And she's sister to Jennifer Tilly, who is, we all saw that one with her and Gina Gershon. I mean, it's like Brother Jack was walking funny for a week, like that. The one leg pretty stiff. But anyway, she's done a great body of work, and she was very good in this film. Because this 50 to 60% of this film took place in that mausoleum, which was actually in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles, and it's been seen in quite a few other shows. It's been seen on an episode of CSI. It's been seen in the Phantasm movies. It's been seen in, I believe, a movie called, it was called Now the Screaming Starts, or something similar to that. But it's been in quite a few different horror movies, and you'd know it because it's got the long corridors with the little plaques and niches for the urns or the coffins and everything. And it's just totally white marble. I mean, floors are white marble, the walls are white marble, the ceiling is white. I mean, if you were in it, it would probably freak you out because everything is so white. And, I know it would freak Brother Jack out, and he hangs out in those places, trust me. You pick up all kinds of women going to funerals, it's like, forget the wedding crashers, start crashing funerals. If you want a little action, start checking your newspapers, start crashing the funerals, you'd be surprised. But anyway, the Meg Tilly plays one of the sorority sisters, and she was very uncomfortable in this setting and being filmed in it. And as part of her process to do the film, she literally had to work herself into hysterics by really concentrating and amplifying those feelings of dread and unease about being in the mausoleum, to the point where she would, in the scenes you'll see where she was hysterical, and she was very convincing at it because she actually was hysterical. The producers actually had to have nurses with Valium on hand to calm her down after she would do her scenes, and they would actually have to stagger her scenes out to maybe where she could only do 1 or 2 a day, because it was so emotionally exhausting on her, and she was taking such a toll on herself. And that brings us to another little interesting point. If you're a fan of films like Brother Jack, you might remember the movie The Producers, starring Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel, and there was a scene where their production was bombing, and Mostel's character was yelling at Gene Wilder's, and Gene Wilder looked absolutely terrified. I mean, you could see the look of abject terror on this man's face, and he wasn't acting. And in an interview in, I believe, like 2000, Gene was asked about that particular scene, and after a little bit of laughter and a few drinks, Gene kind of spilled the beans on that one and explained to the reporter the reason he looked so terrified is because Gene kept blowing his lines for this, and they'd actually gone through like 10 takes. And Gene kept flubbing his lines. Not that he was a bad actor or anything. It's just we've all had those days where we can't get our heads around something and we just screw up over and over and over again. Well, Zero Mostel, I mean, being apparently very gay and very tired and very pissed off, cornered Gene and told him that if he messed his lines up one more time, he was going to basically drop his pants and rape him right there on the set in front of God and everybody. And Gene Wilder naturally, I mean, took this threat quite seriously. And when he was doing his lines, he was deathly afraid that he was going to mess up and end up getting, you know, by a Zero Mostel. So after that, the scene, they did it in one take. You know, Zero Mostel went home happy, and Gene Wilder went home without being raped, and it was a win-win situation for everybody. So that's just another, for all you method actors out there, you know, it's like, stick to your craft, people. Adam West was not the producer's first choice to play the role of Alan. The casting director saw that he had auditioned for the film and he was interested, and this was at a time that Adam West was having a very hard time getting roles because of his role in Batman. He was still too recognizable as Batman and nobody really wanted to touch him. But the casting director, being a fellow actor himself, took a little sympathy on Adam West, contacted the producers and said, yeah, let's go ahead and hire this guy. And Adam West actually turned in a very convincing performance as Alan, and he was actually commended or complimented by the producers, the actors, the directors for his professionalism and for the quality of the role he turned in, which, you know, helped him go on to get other comp series. Particularly, there was a comedy series called The Last Precinct that he did. It was a short-lived series. It only did, I think, like 10 episodes, but it was very good. Starred him, Randy Brooks, and I believe Murray Langston, who you would know as the Unknown Comic. And we all know Randy Brooks, the very well-built blonde poster girl and model. And if you ever remember the TV show Wizards and Warriors with Jeff Conaway, and you know, Jeff Conaway was the only notable actor in it, but Randy Brooks was also in that. Julia Duffy also. You know, and he went on to, and in about, I believe, 1985, he got picked up as the role of, it was like in 1990 in the 90s, where he got picked up as the role of the mayor of Quahog, Mayor West of Quahog in Family Guy. He'd also done some voiceover work on The Simpsons and several other things. And he was actually beginning to become quite popular as voiceovers and commercials. And he actually did the narration for several educational films. So this kind of helped his little appearance on One Dark Night, kind of helped jumpstart his career. And I'm sure, you know, he's forever grateful. I mean, look at the success he's with the, you know, the revival of the Batman franchise through Bale, and now with Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer. You know, we're not even going to mention George Clooney. It's like, sorry, it's like nobody needs a pretty boy Batman, you know. George, we love you, but no, don't ever put the cape on again. We'll kill you if we do, if you do. We'll hunt your ass down, trust me. But anyway, Adam West, you know, went on to go do so much because of his role in this film. So you never know where a helping hand is going to come from. Now, with that being said, we're going to get back to the movie One Dark Night, starring Meg Tilly and Adam West, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shaka-Rama. Enjoy. This is gonna, oh crap! Well, greetings, faithful followers. Welcome back. What did you think of One Dark Night? Wasn't that scary? What did you think of all the bodies popping out of the coffins, and all of the the dead things pressing up on the girls, and being, we had one girl crushed under a mountain of dead bodies, and we've got Raymar doing all of his telekinetic shit and just generally being a big pain in the ass to everyone. We've got basically the mausoleum collapsing on itself, and coffins blowing open, and niches blowing, the doors of niches blowing off. I mean, all kinds of shit was just happening. Too busy as far as Brother Jack is concerned, but hey, not a bad movie nonetheless. Let me just hip you to a little bit more of the goofs in this movie. Well, they're not necessarily goofs. They're those little odd bits of trivia that you come across, and you just gotta, you sit there and you go, that's interesting. But some of the stuff is, they say truth is stranger than fiction, and this certainly qualifies. Now, you'll all remember in that throughout the movie we had the coffins blowing open and the skeletons and the corpses and everything. There was a scene where one girl actually has a corpse on top of her and it's just kind of pushing her down. That was actually a real medical school cadaver. I mean, this wasn't prop, it wasn't plastic, this was the real deal, people. I mean, this was dead flesh, blood. It was put in there by the producers because they wanted to put an element of realism. The corpse was actually stood up on a metal frame, and there was two production assistants, and it was on like a wheeled dolly on this frame, and the frame actually had a hydraulic arm that let the corpse come forward and push against the actress. And they were behind it, doing this and this and this, pushing it, while the actress was just being pushed down by this corpse. But they didn't tell the actress it was a real corpse, that she was basically being, doing the missionary position with an actual corpse, and she was on the bottom. Guys, let's face it, we've all been there. It's like we've all had that. It's like. Yeah, it's like, well, you figure it out. But anyway, the actress was not Meg Tilly, it was one of the other actresses. She actually complained about the weight of the corpse and that it was too realistic and it made her feel rather uncomfortable. And the crew had to tell her at that point that it was an actual medical school cadaver. And she was quite understandably upset because, this corpse was really pressing on her and, getting a little closer than what she might have liked. And so, I mean, she was naturally quite perturbed at the directors and the producers, and even threatened legal action. But, upon that really didn't go anywhere because there's no law in California saying, that you can't be groped up by a corpse during a movie shoot. So that kind of fell by the wayside, and I'm sure the producers did give her a little extra cash, in the old pay envelope under the table, just for your trouble. There was also a scene where you'll see a lot of skeletons, and these were spaced out quite liberally throughout the film. And those skeletons were not plastic replicas or prop skeletons or buckies, as they call them in the trade. If you're a member of the haunt industry, the Halloween industry, you understand what the phrase Bucky's, Arthur's, and a few others. These were actual human skeletons that they'd gotten from a skeleton farm in India. And believe it or not, that's one of India's second or third largest industries, is the acquisition, preparation, and export of medical school quality human skeletons. Because when you've got a population as large as India's and you can't dump them all in the Ganges, you got to do something with them. And the hotel industry, as we know, is the #1 export of India. That they do export a lot of hotel managers, but the second or third is skeletons. Believe it or not, Google it. You'll see I'm right. Really. I swear to God, I'm not lying. I'm not shitting you people. It's skeletons. India exports more skeletons per capita than any other place on the goddamn planet. You know, they're shipping them out. They're shipping them out of there so fast. And what they do, and this is a really neat little bit of trivia, they have these towers in India. They're outside of some of the major cities, and what they are is they're like 5-story structures. They're circular towers, and they have grates. It's like a spiral staircase, and every so often they have a flat grate. People would rent these grates, lay the bodies of their dearly departed on them. The local vultures would come in, strip the corpse to a pristine condition in just maybe 24 to 48 hours. They would then let it the bones bleach in the sun for roughly about 2 to 3 weeks. The bones would be collected. They would be articulated with wire, which means joined, so they didn't fall apart. And then these are sprayed with sterilizing agents to cut down on any bacteria or any just in case you get a juicy one, to sterilize them. And then they are shipped out to medical schools across the country. And these are usually first quality skeletons. I mean, obviously if you've got some severe physical deformity, you have club foot or you got a flipper hand or something like that, you're not going to qualify. But many first quality medical skeletons come from these skeleton farms in India. Fact is stranger than fiction. And if you don't believe me, look it up. You all got internet, Google it, you'll see I'm right. But the film was a great little piece of 80s cinema. I mean, it wasn't, it isn't War and Peace. It's not epic. It's not fucking Gone with the Wind, people. It's not going to change my life. Basically, this is what you signed up for. I want to waste an hour and a half of my life watching this fucking 80s piece of horror, horror, science fiction / scary movie. You're not going to get that hour and a half of your life back, people. It's gone. Enjoy the movie. You wanted to see it. You sat and watched it. Now you're an hour and a half closer to dying. That's all. That's the trade-off, people. You wanted to give up a little bit of your time to watch this movie. You did. Now guess what? Live with it. But anyway, next week we're going to be bringing you, since we are rating this film, we're going to give it 3 out of 5. It's not a bad little piece of 80s cinema. Meg Tilly was hot. Adam West was good. The rest of the cast did a passable job of acting. The special effects were great. We got to see bodies bursting out of coffins. We got to see an old dead guy running around doing telekinetic shit. Not bad for a fucking Saturday afternoon. Beats going to work. If you're watching this with your wife, your husband, your significant other, hopefully they shut the fuck up long enough to let you enjoy the movie. If not, well, that's why God made DVRs, And if you're watching this online, hit that rewind button. Go back and look at the shit you didn't see. Maybe you'll see something new. Who knows? Have a few drinks the next time you watch it. You'll see all kinds of shit after you've had a few, But anyway, next week we're bringing you a special treat. One of the really great indie filmmaker by the name of Jerry Williams. He's given us 2 of his best films, The Faux Pas Follies and his new short feature-length film called Santa Krampus. I know we're getting into that time. Wait a minute, Santa Krampus? This is just September, for Christ's sakes. It's like they're just getting the Halloween shit into the stores, and we're doing a Christmas movie? Are you crazy, Jack? If Inferna was here, she'd kick me in the dick. But Inferna's not here, so I'm going to run this out of respect for Jerry. Great film. You'll even see our friend Uncle Edward from It Came From the Basement, and Chris McCabe from Oliver's stoner-friendly bargain basement midnight movie madness freak show program will have cameos in this film. So give them a big shout out. You can find them through our webpage. They're on our Facebook page. Give them a shout out. Tell them you like the film. So next week we're bringing you Faux Pas Follies and Santa Krampus. Well, actually, it's going to be two features. We're going to bring you a feature, Faux Pas Follies, and then the week after, we're going to do Santa Krampus. So, good night. Well, all right, before we get into that shit, I'm Brother Jack Angry. I know you were hoping the girls would be here, but hey, everybody's working right now. Brother Jack's got to do this shit all by himself. So, we'll have the girls back shortly, so just hang in there with us. I hope I've been entertaining for you. I hope you've enjoyed the time you've spent with us. We love our friends, our fans, our supporters. Keep those cards and letters coming in. Keep the emails coming in. And keep supporting the Angry Brothers. And to my haters, keep watching. There's so much more to come. And to the red-headed hack, we say, up yours. So I'm Brother Jack Angry. For myself, the rest of the crew here at the Monastery of Mayhem, Brother James, Inferna, Lady Torrid, Ash Sin, Gulia, the Black Dahlia, Veronique, Dr. Sangria, the whole gang. Good night, unpleasant dreams, and let's keep America on top. Watch Horror Host, y'all. And remember, since we just recently had the anniversary of the terror attacks on 9/11, always remember, never forget, and America, keep standing strong. Good night and unpleasant dreams.